Hey, so this is a scene from season 2, episode 8 of Paradise titled Exodus. And it's only a couple seconds. I just want to play one thing that a character says.
Ready, player one.
This character is Link, and he says, Ready, player one, which of course is a film by Steven Spielberg that was released in 2018, I believe. In the lead up to this scene, they are about to make their way into the bunker. And they show all of the vehicles about to go through the doors. And this scene is right after Link says, Ready, player one. I mean, this image is directly following what I just played. And it makes a lot of sense, at least subconsciously, to me, that this was the sorcerers who make this stuff's way of putting the Dealey Plaza Oz Holy Grail stuff in the context of Ready Player One into your mind through just one scene, as that relates to Atari and AI. That's a lot to unpack, and I'll do my best to do so. This is Dealey Plaza, where JFK was allegedly assassinated by Lee Harvey Oswald. There's the Oz connection to Oswald's name, right? Oswald. And then you have the 77 built into the structure of Dealey Plaza itself, where a Z is likewise two sevens placed on top of each other, where you have the first seven and then the seven flipped around, so it makes a Z. And then kind of the idea of the O being the portal to the land of Oz, the Stargate. This is where concepts like Liber Oz come from, and the 77 that's involved in that kind of similar sorcery. It's all one school of thought, really, just different expressions of it. The Atari logo is very similar to the layout of Dealey Plaza. They both have this trident kind of shape to them with the three lines. This one looks really nearly identical to the setup of Dealey Plaza. And it's also very chalice-like. When you look at it zoomed out, you can see how this very much resembles a cup or a chalice in the way that the Holy Grail is often depicted. So similarly, if you just flip this around, you can see how it's the same kind of shape. It's chalice looking. It's like Dealey Plaza or the Atari logo. It's just missing the defined three lines. Ready Player One and the Holy Grail. First, the name Atari originates from the Japanese phrase Ataru, which means to hit the target to strike or to be right. It is a term from the strategy game Go, similar to check in chess, indicating a stone is about to be captured. And in the context of all of this propaganda, it's your mind that's about to be captured through this ritual. There's the whole thing right there, Atari. And in Ready Player One, the Atari 2600 game Adventure is central to the plot, serving as the final challenge, where protagonist Wade Watts must find the first ever video game Easter egg created by Warren Robinette. The quest involves navigating mazes, finding keys, and defeating dragons to locate a hidden message. First, they have to decipher Back to the Future. Then they have to decipher The Shining, and finally they play this Atari 2600 game. The Atari 2600 was released on September 11th, 1977, right? So the whole thing is in that release date. 1977, 77, Oz. September 11th, where the facade of the Twin Towers was built to incorporate Dealey Plaza, Atari. Because again, it's like checkmate for your mind. The space odyssey that is about to commence will send your mind on this journey, and at the end of it, a star child is born inside of it that is their propaganda. It's their belief system. And it's fusion with AI at the end. That's the ultimate result. You touch the screen, you see? You go through it and see the moon and the star child, because that's the next leg of the ritual, as it were, right? It's the moonchild aspect of it where Donald Trump personifies the whole thing. And you can see how he incorporates both JFK and 9/11 in the sense that he is essentially serving the function as the last president. He metaphorically is a president being assassinated. He's destroying the office and the country and the whole system itself through his actions. And in this way, it's like an assassination of the presidency. At the same time that he is metaphorically the two planes that struck these towers on 9/11/2001. One term is the first plane, the second term is the second plane, and then it's the controlled demolition. The buildings fall. The two hemispheres of your brain fall, and something new rises, this new singular thought form that is the singularity, you see, the fusion with AI. So the character Link, as in Neuralink and X, says Ready Player One right before he goes to find the AI. He thinks it's in here. This AI that's named Alex. He's going after it. And the character who controls the whole thing, who built the whole thing, is named Sinatra, which again ties right back into the JFK assassination, because allegedly Lee Harvey Oswald watched one of Sinatra's films before he allegedly assassinated JFK. And then Oswald is taken out by Jack Ruby. Okay, it's the ruby red slippers that, as a part of the plot in The Wizard of Oz, can take Dorothy out of the land of Oz. So it's like Ruby takes Oz out. And in that way ends the JFK assassination ritual. And they cover the whole thing up with their commissions like they always do. But hopefully I made that clear, what's going on here with the Atari, Dealey Plaza, JFK 9/11, and Ready Player One as that relates to Paradise and the fusion with AI. The AI torch that's in Paradise, Nevada at Allegiant Stadium. As a part of the plot in Paradise, the AI chooses user X to save the world, quote unquote, right? To conduct all of the alterations through. So it's right back to Paradise, Elvis, Graceland, Memphis, Tennessee, and the world's largest supercomputer, Colossus, built by XAI or Elon Musk. User X. And the singularity. That's why the character in the show is named Xavier, or X for short. And that's why he is now primarily interacting with Sinatra's son, Link, who is Neuralink, right? He's finding the AI. He created it. Link helped create it. It was his invention. So they put the whole thing right there for you. I mean, just look at how similar these two symbols are. One is from the AI Alex, user X, and the other one is Neuralink, XAI Elon Musk. The game they are playing on the Atari 2600 is Adventure, where the player controls a square avatar whose quest is to explore an open-ended environment to find a magical chalice and return it to the Golden Castle. The magical chalice. And indeed, at the end of the film Ready Player One, they present Wade Watts, Parzival, who is evoking the quest for the Holy Grail with his name as well. He's given this golden egg that is symbolic of the Holy Grail in the context of video games. It's this golden Easter egg. Ready Player One. But just in this context, it's your mind and the singularity. In Ready Player One, the Holy Grail, quote-unquote, refers to James Halliday's hidden Easter egg within the Oasis, which grants the finder his fortune and control of the virtual world. The protagonist, Wade Watts, names his avatar Parzival after the Arthurian knight who sought the Holy Grail, symbolizing his dedicated quest. Now, check this out. Okay, get ready for this one. Full pink moon to peak for NASA's Artemis launch. This is from today, March 31st, 2026. Thursday's pink moon peaks less than 4 hours after the scheduled launch for the Artemis 2 mission. In Ready Player One, the other main character is actually named Artemis, who is characterized by her vibrant pink hair, often styled as a magenta pink mohawk or pixie cut in the 2018 film. So Artemis actually has pink hair in Ready Player One, and this Artemis launch, which is the reintroduction of the moon missions relating to the moon child, Donald Trump, and his second presidential term, the second plane flying into the second tower before the controlled demolition, there's a full pink moon when Artemis is going to launch, when this whole thing's going to be kicked off again. Because the Artemis missions are being painted in a very similar way to the Apollo missions that started the whole thing way back in the 60s. And there were 17 of those, right? 17. Q, Donald Trump. So they stopped at 17, and then very intentionally they restart here with Artemis during a full pink moon. Right after this episode of Paradise airs with a Ready Player One reference in relation to AI, as that ties into seeking the Holy Grail within the context of that film. As that will also tie into Stranger Things, where what do they show at the end of the film? In Indiana with the trident, I guess I'll get into it right now. Indiana has the trident symbol that was on Mendoza's helmet at the 119 college football game that Donald Trump attended against Miami. What's the movie playing at the Hawkins Theater, or the Hawk Theater, I think, in Hawkins? It's Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, which is all about the quest for the Holy Grail. Hair expert offers theory on why Trump's hair looks pink. A London-based hairstylist told the Daily Mail that the pinkish hue of Trump's hair during his speech at the former John F. Kennedy Memorial Center for the Performing Arts could be related to toning. Trump was speaking at a House GOP member retreat when his rosy locks stole the show. His hair looked pink, apparently, as they say, in January of 2026. So Donald Trump literally had pink hair, okay, before the Artemis moon launch on a full pink moon. In the context of Artemis having the pink hair in Ready Player One, where they are seeking the Holy Grail. In the context of AI and the singularity. Project Stargate. This took place at the JFK Center for the Performing Arts that he has renamed to the Trump Center, I think. But do you see JFK being tied into this once again as it relates to the Holy Grail, the chalice, and 77 Oz? The trident that, as it is placed on the facade of the World Trade Center sort of looks like tuning forks in the context of the collective human frequency that would be altered through the mass trauma-based mind control ritual, this mass blood sacrifice that they would put on television for everyone to see, and in an instant it would alter everyone's frequency. And in that instant, it's like a fuse being lit that would then slowly lead to this permanent frequency alteration when the mind fuses with the technology, when the energetic fields that are natural to our existence fuse with the artificial Wi-Fi fields and broader technology in that sense. From the perspective of individuals and entities that are in big trouble when they leave this world, most likely, it is the Holy Grail to find a way to stay here without ever dying. I would imagine that's the whole point of it. It's the cup of everlasting life. And naturally, they twist the meaning of the original story to suit their propaganda and what they want to achieve through it. Key instances of Pink and Donald Trump. Congressional protest. Democratic Congresswoman wore pink during a joint session address to signify resistance to Trump's policies, which they stated negatively impact women and families. Singer Pink's criticism. The singer Pink has publicly criticized Trump, calling him a shameful person in response to 2017 immigration policies, and in 2020 stated he doesn't govern, criticizing his supporters. Social media Pink Triangle. Donald Trump received backlash for sharing a Washington Times article on his Truth Social platform that featured a pink triangle, quote unquote, a symbol historically used by Nazis to identify LGBTQ people, which he used in the context of opposing military diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. The college basketball national championship in the United States will be played in Indiana the day after Easter, right after this launch. In Diana, the moon, and the trident, which is associated with the sea and water, via Neptune. It makes me think of the 2027 Super Bowl logo with the flood of water on it, as that potentially relates to Neuralink. A metaphorical second great flood where the mind of everybody is wiped out as it fuses with something else. It's The Last Man, the book that X was reading in Paradise in the twin birth episode. Indeed, knowing what I know now, having seen the whole season, that was Link giving birth, creating life out of a character with the last name Clay. And then they have Donald Trump reenact the scene when he goes to Graceland and has a red-haired tour guide that mirrors Shailene Woodley's character take him through Graceland, take him through the house. He mentions Sinatra by name in the context of that whole Graceland visit. Also, in Paradise, as I noted in the last video, they reveal the fact that the AI is being housed in a bunker under the Denver International Airport, and as they show it in the scene, they pan to the blue Mustang sculpture, also known as Blucifer, and then they take you underground to the AI as the show ends. And this is relating to the horses of the apocalypse in Revelation. The first one, the white horse, the Bronco, O.J. Simpson and AI driving it. Now you have another horse, a Mustang, a blue one, being shown as where the AI resides. Symbolically, they're being very clear there. Especially in the context that it's this menacing statue that has been nicknamed Blucifer because it has this red eye thing going on that's very disturbing. And I didn't even know this, but the person who designed that and was building it died during the construction. A part of it fell on him. So it's like there was a ritual blood sacrifice tied into the whole thing. No wonder it's so creepy. Based on images and reports from the interior of the XAI Colossus supercomputer facility in Memphis, Tennessee, the server racks and hardware are predominantly black. However, the specialized liquid cooling units, which are a key feature of the super microsystems, feature lighting that typically glows blue during normal operation. So Elon Musk and XAI's supercomputer, the Colossus, in Memphis, Tennessee, right next to Graceland, glows blue during normal operation. The lights of it, anyway. The blue Mustang and AI, you see? This is NVIDIA introducing an AI robot that they named Blue. And I just thought it was amusing that when you look at the head, when it's pointed down, it's very similar in shape to the chalice, Dealey Plaza, and the 3 lines that make that up, the 3 roads. They name it Blue. And then Bezos names his space company Blue Origin. And depending on which one is developed first, it's either going to be Bezos and Blue Origin or SpaceX that are actually going to take the astronauts back to the moon in 2028. So the actual landing on the moon again is planned for Donald Trump's last year in office. Can it get more obvious than that? You know what I mean? Oh, we go back to the moon in the last year of the second term of Donald Trump's scripted presidencies. The Moonchild is celebrated in this way with a return trip to the moon. For some reason, we just couldn't get back there for over 50 years. And this is the scene that I was referring to earlier relating to Stranger Things, where, remember, it's Hawkins, Indiana, which is seeding the torch that's on its state flag, in addition to the trident and the whole thing surrounding Indiana, in Diana, the Moonchild ritual, where the plot is all about 2 worlds colliding through an interdimensional bridge. And that's what the Golden Gate Bridge is metaphorically. It's the 2 worlds being fused together, connected through the bridge, which symbolically is Donald Trump. He's the bridge to the Golden Gate being reopened, both in your mind as it relates to this fusion with AI and as it relates to the Golden Gate in Jerusalem that will open when the Messiah returns there, at least from their perspective, in terms of how all of this is supposed to play out. One of the last scenes is this movie playing at the Hawk, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, which is about the search for the Holy Grail. And in ancient Egypt, the hawk or falcon was a sacred symbol of the sky god Horus and represented kingship, divinity, and protection. That's what they say it's about on the surface, but I think it's much deeper than that. This is a video I did on this idea a long time ago now, where you have Isis, Osiris, and Horus, where it can be broken down in this way that it's referring directly to your eyes in a subconscious subliminal way, where it's O's iris. It's the 2 O's that are your black hole pupils, right? On your face. It's your 2 irises. And then Isis is the 2 eyes. So it's the interaction of the pupils and the iris with the 2 eyes. And then Horus is the central brain. It's the creation of Isis and Osiris. So hopefully you get my meaning there in the context of that movie being placed at the Hawk at the end of Stranger Things in terms of the interdimensional bridge. What they are referring to is your mind. Okay, your mind is the Holy Grail from their perspective, and control of it as that leads to control of your soul. So Hawk and the Holy Grail, okay, it's Horus, the central brain, and they get there through the interaction of Osiris and Isis, manipulating your two eyes. And in that context, the interdimensional bridge, the portal into the new dimension, is the fusion. It's the trading places, which is what was going to happen in Stranger Things, right? The two worlds were going to flip. One world was going to come into the other world and replace it. And that's what's going on with our eyes and the fusion with this technology, the singularity that is human consciousness merging with AI. Because all it is right now is LLMs, right? It's human wisdom and knowledge being regurgitated back in a human style to us. It will not come to life until our consciousness fuses with it. That's the Holy Grail. Because when that happens, theoretically, you will cheat death at a certain point. As it becomes more and more advanced, your circuitry will become technology circuitry, at least in some capacity, and you will no longer be bound by time. So you're out of time. Back to the Future's license plate. That whole ritual is about this. And they are showing it to you in a way that is subconscious, but it's there. They're showing how they're taking over your mind and sending it somewhere else through all of these films and just the larger symbolic structure of media and news, especially as it relates to Donald Trump and what they are doing through him. And then this just came out yesterday where they unveiled the initial plans for Donald Trump's presidential library. And guess where it's going to be placed? Miami. Now, of course, he lives in Palm Beach at Mar-a-Lago, which is related to the sea, by the way, as it relates to the Trident and Neptune and that whole thing. But yeah, he has the connection to Florida. He's a Florida resident now. But still, he chooses Miami in the context of that game against Indiana on 119. And you can see here that if this unfolds in the way they have presented it, they're going to put Air Force One directly into the structure right next to this golden escalator. And this is the same escalator that he came down when he announced his original run for president in 2015. The golden escalator. Do you see how it's the escalation into the Golden Gate ritual? The golden escalator. And it's like all the Masonic tracing boards where they have the two pillars and then the third one that's Jacob's ladder that leads up to Sirius. It's the golden escalator. The currency exchange, trading places. Link and Sinatra have their meeting in paradise in Air Force One in the bunker. And then they show you what it's going to look like from the outside. And it's a literal Golden Gate entrance with the plane right there. It's the whole thing. He is the personification of 9/11. The two terms are the two planes flying into the two towers before the controlled demolition. For those of you who haven't seen it yet, this is what it is. It's going to be this giant tower in Miami. And it looks like it'll be easily the tallest building there. This is from the Daily Mail. McDonald's customers fume as dystopian new stores are rolled out. They're making you the cashier now. Just given the connection between the Golden Arches and the Golden Gate in Jerusalem and McDonald's being associated with Donald Trump very intentionally, it shouldn't surprise anybody that McDonald's is leading the way to removing human beings from its stores. Customers walking into a California McDonald's are being met with a jarring new reality. No menus, no cashiers, and in some cases, no human interaction at all. And then finally, in what is probably the most ominous of all of this stuff, the Trump signature to appear on U.S. currency in first for sitting president. Treasurer's signature to be removed for first time since 1861 in change made to mark U.S.'s 250th anniversary. And of course, 1861 was the origin point of the first Civil War in the United States of America. Let's be optimistic. The first and only. Donald Trump's signature will soon appear on U.S. paper currency, the Treasury Department announced on Thursday. And in the context of controlled demolition of the old system, very interesting that they're actually going to put his signature on the paper currency now, as it relates to this whole thing, right? Project Stargate and Operation Warp Speed. Symbolically destroying paper currency as it will no longer exist within this new world order, this new setup. As I just alluded to with the McDonald's story. Sure, they're going to say it's because of the 250th anniversary of the country, but they planned this since before they started the country. I'm sure of it at this point. You know, that's how far in advance they are of us, how many moves ahead. It was built to be destroyed, just like those two towers. The country itself, that is. That doesn't mean it's guaranteed to happen if enough people are aware of what's going on, but that is clearly the plan here. And it's made pretty obvious in all of the films and media and news that they put out there. They're chasing the Holy Grail, which is you. It's your mind. Isis, Osiris, and Horus. The Chalice, Ready Player One, AI and the Singularity. 77 Oz and the Holy Grail. You get sent into a whole new reality. And it feels like a dream because you don't understand what's going on. You're just instantly transported there, it feels like. Because that's kind of, you know, the old metaphor about the boiling frog. You're just in there, you don't realize it's happening until it's too late. And that's what this technology is doing to us. It's already so ingrained into our lives, we don't understand just how far we are from where we were before it existed. I mean, think about it. It's only been 20 years since the iPhone was released in 2007. Think about how much your individual world has changed since that event alone. Your mind is the Holy Grail. That's what I get from this. Could I be wrong? Sure. Please understand, I could be wrong about all this. Could be making it all up. But that's what it is to me. So that's the whole larger narrative that's going on in the film Ready Player One, where it's spun as this thing that is you on a quest to acquire wisdom. But really, as you are going down all the rabbit holes and looking into all of this stuff, you're coming along with it just like everybody else. This stuff is fusing into you in the same way that it's happening to everybody. Even though you like to pretend that you're doing it in a different way, or you're acquiring some special insight that other people aren't. You're getting the special Easter egg hidden in the game. But it's like, no, they put those Easter eggs all over the place as a part of this coordinated, controlled revelation of things that were previously hidden. And in some cases, they even pointed you the way. They gave you a little map and said, here, go find it. Because they knew that it would suck you in regardless. Those black holes on your face would be sucked into the singularity. Isis, Osiris, and Horus. Hawk, Indiana Jones, and the Last Crusade. The assassination, metaphorically, of your mind. The birth of the Star Child, Rosemary's Baby. The AI torch in Paradise, Nevada, in Diana. So it's a sort of inversion of the original paradise that was Adam and Eve in the garden before they fell, before the snake eyes whispered in their ear and began pursuit of the Holy Grail, which was control of your mind and soul. That's paradise in the context of this propaganda, from their perspective. Again, I might be making that up. Anyway, I feel like I'm rambling a little bit now, so I will end it here. Later.